Brenna. So we will start. We will start by introducing ourselves, and then we will get on to talking about our disability supports that we have received in minutes. So this video is about the supports that we have received. It's not the supports that you will receive as a guarantee, but you may receive them if you're deemed eligible after your meeting with your access advisor. I will start by introducing myself, and my name is Donnelly, and I am one of your head ambassadors this year. And I'm going into my final year of the LLB program.
Me. Oh, hello. I'm Ryan. I'm going into third year computer science this year. I'm also one of the head ambassadors, and I'm just returning from a year out working. So, hey everyone, nice to be back.
There's a fly flying around me, and it's driving me insane, guys. That's what I'm making faces about.
It's going to talk about its disability sports at the end.
It wants to sit still. So next, I go to Saoirse.
Perfect. Hi guys, my name is Saoirse. I am one of your coordinators for Launchpad 2020, and I've just graduated from my degree in biology and general science.
Fabulous. And Richard, because he's looking next.
Hi, my name is Richard, and I'm going into second year computational thinking.
Fabulous. And Fabian.
Hi, my name is Fabian. I'm a go-to ambassador this year for Launchpad, and I'm going into my fourth year of Law LLB.
And Connor.
Hi, I'm Connor. I'm an ambassador, and I'm heading into the second year accounting and finance.
Fabulous. And Sorka.
Hi, I'm going into third year studying international development and criminology, and I'm an ambassador for this year.
Fabulous. And last but no means least, Gavin.
Hey, I'm Gavin. I'm going into final year of the general science degree, and yeah, that's me.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so we will start with Saoirse if you want to go through the supports that you received in college and how they have helped you graduate.
Perfect. So I came through the DARE route, so I have dyslexia and dyspraxia, and I got a lot of supports, thank God, because I needed them. But so I got supports, like I got access to Student Central, so I had an assistant psychologist where I could check in on with if I needed anything like academic support. So if I needed someone to help me timetable my exams, I'd pop into the Access office to Student Central, or they'd help me just to kind of help me along with academically, because I found that I got quite stressed out and overwhelmed, and they helped me ground myself. Along with Student Central, I also had access to a disability advisor, so I had Bridget. And Bridget was there to help me, just to kind of help me focus again if things were going wrong. And she was almost like the mammy for me. So if I was kind of over stressing about something, she'd almost give me a kick up the arse and tell me to get on with it, which is what I needed. She knows exactly what you guys need. I also had access to, I got longer loans in the library. So I got 3-week loans in the library. If I needed an extension on my assignments, such as a 3-week assignment, I could have an extra week on top of that. And then I also had exam supports. So for every hour of my exam, I got an extra 10 minutes. And I also got to sit in a separate center and got to use a computer. So this helped me a lot throughout my degree, because without this support, I wouldn't have gotten through it. I found, while college was amazing, I found it quite overwhelming as well, because there's so much going on. And without the supports, I wouldn't have gotten through it, and I wouldn't have graduated where I am today. So that's my supports.
Quite the endorsement.
Honestly, yeah. Richard, do you want to go next?
Okay. So I came into college through DARE. I am autistic and ADHD and have difficulties with focusing and organization and being able to communicate. And so when I came into Maynooth, I had a needs assessment with a member of the disability office, and so I came prepared to that by writing out a list of things I'd struggled with in the past in school, and so yeah, it was a very relaxed meeting where I met my advisor, my disability advisor, and she suggested accommodations that could help me in Maynooth. So the most important support that I got was Student Central, which was a series of meetings throughout the year with my disability advisor to discuss how I was getting on with college and if I was being supported well. At these meetings, my advisor helped me with staying organized each week by helping me work on timetables for studying and lectures and keeping up with assignments. I was also loaned a Livescribe Pen by the Disability Office, which I used to record lectures. It helped with my difficulty with focusing, but it did take a while to get used to being able to use the pen. And I was also given exam supports, which were being able to use a computer and also having extra time and rest breaks. And those really helped me and just took away a lot from the stress of the exams. And yeah, the supports were incredibly helpful.
Perfect. Thanks a million, Richard. Just to elaborate on the Livescribe Pen, I got this too. So I know Ryan has done this 1,000,001 times over explaining what the pen is. So just for anyone watching, do you want to explain what the pen is?
Yeah, so the Livescribe Pen, it's actually really cool. While you're writing, it records audio of the lecturer or wherever you are at the time. And as you write in your notebook, there's little dots on the page, the special page of the notebook, which you're given as well with it. And as you go, it records the timestamps for when you were writing on that specific point. So if you come back later and then tap on a certain bit of that writing, it'll read out to you whatever was being said at that exact time. So it's really good for people that are struggling to hold attention during lectures or struggling to keep up or keep taking notes the whole way through. There are a couple of other ways that we do audio note taking in the college as well, but that's just one in particular that's particularly good for if you want to write some of your own notes and then match the audio with it.
Yeah, I know when I was in lectures, I would draw a happy face if I really got that point and, I don't need to go back on it. And I draw a sad face if I completely tuned out. And I just press on one of the eyes of the sad face that I drew first. And that'll bring me to that exact point in the lecture. And then I can listen to it after because I had tuned out. But yes, so Fabian, do you want to go next?
I will go next, yeah. My name is Fabian, as I said already. I have a disorder called idiopathic hypersomnia, which means that my body doesn't create energy, so I'd be tired a lot, which before I came into college, the week before, I met my disability advisor, Jared Gallagher, one of the loveliest men I've ever met. And he assessed my difficulties and the problems I would have with the lack of energy. So the first thing he said was I should get accommodation and be as close to the college as I can possibly be. So then I can pretty much give the most that I can while I'm here. So I got that. And then I also couldn't afford the accommodation. So I was told to go see the budgeting advisor, who also helped out immensely. And I got put on the disability scholarship, and you get that if you're in first year. And then once you're in first year and you apply to it and are accepted, you can get it for all the years you're in college. I personally get some money in semester one, and once that runs out, I get another one in semester two. So it keeps me going and it keeps me fed, and I have a roof over me. So that's a pretty good support, if any. And then I also get the Livescribe Pen, and then I get exam supports. I actually get my own exam room, like my own center. And because I get tired, like out of nowhere, I can take breaks and I can get I think they're called a lounger. Basically, I think I can lie on for 20 minutes if I feel I need to, or just need to like a bit of respite during the exam. And then I also get extra time. I think it's 10 minutes per hour. But yeah, so that helps out a lot. And then, yeah, that's me. I also get the extensions for assignments as well because I kind of need them. But they're there, which is ideal.
Perfect. Thanks, Fabian. Connor, if you would like to go next.
Hi, I'm Connor. When I was 15, I was diagnosed with an acquired brain injury. This meant it was a lot harder in everything, both physically and mentally. Both physically, when my right-hand side was affected, and I'm right-handed. and both mentally I get tired, like Fabian said, but not to the extent. This was where, this is where MAP came in, and Jer, as Fabian said, really helped a lot here. He first rang me, and once I got my place, of course, and he basically gave me an assessment, as in he worked out my strengths and weaknesses and that sort of thing. And my weakness was, well, you see, I had to go and think about that. And the number one thing was technology, because they don't have that in most secondary schools. But I was fully kitted out, I suppose, and I was given a Sonocent, which is a lecture and whatever you want to write down and that sort of thing, and Dragon think, and that is where it's basically going from what you say onto the laptop screen. And I cannot stress enough how much I needed that, because I learned how to write, but I was much, much slower. And I got help with Describe and that sort of stuff. And I was given for every hour an extra 10 minutes throughout my exams. And it was really beneficial to me.
Brilliant. Thank you so much for sharing, Connor. Sorka, if you'd like to go next.
So I think everyone kind of said similar things to what I kind of received. I have Aoife in the disability office, and basically what she does is just kind of keeps up on me. She makes sure I do the things I'm supposed to be doing, because I overthink and anxiety and all that shebang. So she kind of keeps on track with me for that. But what's really nice of her, she actually helps me kind of make a calendar of everything I need per week, per semester. So whether it be getting prepared for an essay, she'll give me 2 weeks. So instead of me looking at it the night before going sugar, it's safer for everyone. And so my actual submitting anything, whether it be through COVID, an exam online, or just in general an essay, it's actually on time. I also got the Livescribe, so I can go back audio wise and just listen to my lectures and write side notes to them, which is handy. Doing international development is a lot of up on your feet talking and discussing things more so than actual notes. So I find it really helps me in that. I also received accommodation due to the fact my back goes out and I can't walk. It's a fun time. But basically, by having accommodation, even if my back is sore or anything like that, I can actually still go to lectures. I might cry in them, but I'm there, so I can still survive to some extent and get my education. But it just is handy for me. I'm from West Cork, so it's handy that I'm close, but also very close. My mom said I roll out of bed and I'm there, which is very true. But I think in general, everything that everyone else said to some extent, like the 10 minutes extra per hour, I get to do mine on computers, which I don't know if I heard, but basically I type my exams. So I'm at one of the computer kind of labs, same time, just extra couple of minutes, and I get to just type. I'm better at that than writing. That's kind of really it.
Fabulous. Love it. We're all getting all these. Gavin, you're next.
Perfect. So myself, yeah, like everyone else, came through DARE. I was 17. I got diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis, but I had it for a good chunk of my life before that. Just kind of got diagnosed then, and it really put stuff in perspective because I did the junior cert, and in a lot of the more writing heavy subjects, I did very poorly. And then once I got that, of course, this is in secondary school, but I did get supports in secondary school, which I had to fight for to get them. But once I got to college, the supports are pretty much like, oh, you got those for leaving cert? They're like, cool, we can get you those now. And it was so much handier than we in secondary school having to fight to get the supports with my teachers. And again, I also have Jer as a disability advisor, and he is so lovely. The lad's 100% right there. Now all the staff as well are super lovely. So honestly, like, you know, best bunch of people on campus. Yeah, so again, a lot of my support's been mentioned. I get the Livescribe Pen, which is super handy, as Neve was describing. I do get, of course, the extra time. I use computers for a bit for some of my exams, but I've actually switched over to using a scribe. I know it kind of just works a bit better for me because even my hands still kind of get a bit achy using the laptop, and I find just the scribe, you know, I'm well able to talk, so I can kind of chat them through what I'm thinking. And I don't know, I think it is a bit of a trickier one to use. I think you do have to get used to it, but part of me, I think now that I'm used to it, actually kind of likes having the person there and you're kind of like sounding it out to them. So I'd recommend definitely giving it a try, especially in first year. And it is something kind of I've worked with Jer about my supports, kind of being like, oh, I think I might try this. And it's slightly flexible for me anyway. Of course, as we're saying, Neve was saying at the start, it depends person to person. But I think I've covered all the sports I've gotten exclusive or myself, and then I think everyone else has kind of mentioned stuff. Oh, labs, because I had to do labs. Yeah, labs have been really good because they know about my disability and they're just very supportive, and it's just really nice to have that support and understanding from people because labs are very intense and very hands-on. So I do find it super nice when like my demonstrators just know that I might have some trouble. I've actually had like demonstrators help me with like particular tasks that have been a bit more kind of hands-on, and also having lab partners in different subjects as well has been super helpful. And even some departments would let me have a lab partner. So that's definitely something to look into. I think that's everything. I'll let Neve go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think you're a good example. Oh my God, there's a fly on my laptop. You're a good example of that. If your needs change, your accommodations can change too. You know, like your one assessment at the beginning of your journey in Maynooth isn't your only one. You know, it's picked up and you can reassess as you go along and as you need to.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Gavin touched on a really good point as well. What I noticed was the huge difference between secondary school and college. Secondary school, you were fighting for your supports. College, you come in as like, what can we get you?
Yeah.
It's a completely different atmosphere to it.
You will probably never have to fight for anything support-wise from the Access office in Maynooth.
Yeah.
Ever. They're very accommodating and want to help genuinely. It's not a fight. Brian, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I suppose that's why I'm here. Where do I start? I got my disability back when I was in secondary school towards the end of fifth year. And so I have a really bad pain condition that goes through my entire right side, blind in that eye. I have a lot of trouble reading, especially when I was first diagnosed and coming into college through first year. I couldn't read at all or write. My hands were too shaky and everything because of the pain. So I was struggling with all of that. Yeah, so when I came into the college, I was asked to come in and meet Jer, the disability advisor, to discuss accommodations when I get to college. And I was coming in to basically tell him, yeah, it's just not going to work. Thanks, but no thanks. And Jer actually convinced me in that meeting that I could go to college and that all the sports were there. And I kept throwing up different stuff like, yeah, but I can't do this. And he's like, yeah, but we could do it this way instead for you. And so there was always another workaround he had for me, which was absolutely fantastic. And the way he got me to come in is I was still a bit iffy on it. So he said to me at the start, right, how about you try for the first week, you come back to me and we'll see if it's working or not, because you have so much time that you can decide I want to defer my place till next year. You get like a month or so. And so I did that, and I came back after the week and said that was fairly okay. And then I went back to and he was like, all right, grand, how about we try 2 more weeks? And then we got to Christmas and he was like, I suppose you should probably just do the semester now, Ryan. And so I thought that was the biggest thing for me, was having someone there that was kind of watching to make sure I was doing okay and checking in on me the whole time to see where my support's working. So I was trying out a lot of different supports at the time that I'd never had before. So he'd try see out, did they work for me, then come back as soon as possible and say, all right, how are you finding this? Is there anything we could adjust a bit or should try something new? And that was a big deal. The supports themselves, I got a huge variety because of all the different parts of the disability. For maths, I had someone that was able to sit in the classes and take notes for me because you can't really audio record maths or anything like that. For the other classes I had, I used Sonosynth as well, like Connor, which is another audio recorder, but it lets you sync with your lecture slides so that you can see which things were being said at each slide and mark certain parts as important, or this bit was about the assignment, and it's a really cool piece of software like that. I had the same kind of exam accommodations as some of the others where I was allowed to use a computer because I couldn't write. And then for maths as well, I could use a scribe instead. So it wasn't, all right, this is how you're going to do all your exams, work with that. It was literally a case of, Jared went through me module by module, all right, for this one, would this suit better or would this? And how can we go about making it suit? And on the other side, actually, the departments themselves tend to be very helpful if you approach them and talk. Experimental physics, I wasn't sure whether it was going to be better to have a scribe or to use a computer. And I actually just went to the lecturer and I chatted to him for a while and said, I'm very unsure of how I'm going to do these diagrams and stuff because I don't know how to work. And he said, all right, well, what if I adjusted the exam to ask the question, like, he didn't give me the question, but the style of questions to be like this. So instead you could do it this way. And so we adjusted the entire exam just so that I wasn't worrying about which was the best format for me. It was absolutely brilliant. I think those are kind of the main supports I've received. They're kind of different to everyone else's. So
perfect. So I suppose I'll say mine. I'm last. But I am doing law, as I said, and I am visually impaired, and I've got albinism. So I got a load of support with regards to being able to see. So I got the pen, which I absolutely love. And in law, some of your lecturers just speak for the hour, which can sometimes be good, and some will draw on the board with the chalk, and I can't see that at all. So I'd have them give me their notes that they're working off, if they will. And if they don't, Jer will fight them because Jer is the man of all mans. But he will fight them for me. He is like anyone's biggest advocate. Like if a lecturer isn't being what would you say, accommodating, then he will advocate for you and get your needs met. I got exam accommodation, such as I got large print papers, but I also got small print papers because I told Jer, look, some days I don't want to be that one in the exam hall flipping over a massive page and making all this noise and whatever. So he's like, we'll give you options. So I have the small print paper, which I would use with a little magnifier, or I have the large print papers. I as well have extra time on my exams and get 10 minutes per every hour. And I'm in a separate center too. I chose not to use a laptop because I prefer writing. But the choice was offered to me. What else did I get? I was offered a machine in first year, and I took it, I tried it, I hated it, and I gave it back. So I'm not gonna say the name, but one, because I can't remember, and two, because I'm not gonna make any going with a biased opinion on it. Like, try it out yourself and see.
So it will hereafter be referred to as the machine.
The machine. I didn't like it. It just wasn't for me because I'm a very simple Sally. Like, I have a little telescope to see boards, and I have a little magnifier, and that's how I got through secondary school. So in college, the pen was like a life changer for me, and a massive step technology wise for me. And then I had the machine, and it just wasn't a fit for me. So I gave that back, and the office didn't judge me. They didn't mind. They were like, yeah, no, that's no problem. Is there anything else we can get you instead? And I was like, no, I'm good with what I have. But the lecturers have to send me their slides if they're going to use slides. And if not, they have to accommodate me in other ways, whether it's by their notes or, give me extra tuition. Like the slides, a lot of things that lecturers might do is put information on their slides for the actual lecture. We won't see this happen with COVID now, but back then they did. And they put secret things that would be in the lecture slides for the lecture, and the ones they post to Moodle would have less information in them. They had to send me the slide with all of the information on it. but they offered me supports with Scribe and Note Taker, but I didn't take them. They were offered to me. The one I was offered someone that would take me, like a guide that would take me to my classes, which I didn't accept because I'm stubborn. I was like, I'm gonna find this, but I should have probably accepted it because I ended up in a maths lecture instead of a law lecture on my first day. But anyway, it's funny when I look back. But I think that was all the supports that I got. I mean, if I'm missing some, I'm sure I've gotten some that you guys have gotten. They're all pretty similar, But I mean, the main point is like they're all catered to our needs, and I personally found them extremely helpful. And it's like a cushion, the Access offices, that you can just fall back on, and they will just keep you supported throughout your whole entire journey. And there is literally not a worry that you need to have, and every need that you have, well, should and probably will be met, But has anyone anything they want to say about the supports in general, like how they experienced it, or, did they ever have, lectures fight them? We won't mention them, but like as in their name or anything. But did anyone ever have bad experiences? Saoirse, go on, Saoirse.
Sorry, Gav. I think like the office definitely wants to see you succeed. Like if there's a problem, they're gonna find a reason for you. Like I found in my final semester, just before we had to go into lockdown, that like I was getting into this kind of flight freeze mode. Sometimes you get, when you're coming to the end of your college degree, sometimes you get into this mode where you don't know if you're going to run away from your degree, you're hiding from the degree, or you just freeze. And what happened to me is I froze and I tried to hide away from my degree. And then I went into Bridget and I had my little meltdown, and Bridget let me have my cry. But then she went, Saoirse, look, things are going to happen. And they did happen. And she goes, you're going to have to just focus for these last 3 months. And I did, and I succeeded, and I actually graduated. And it was the first time in all my degree, all my 4 years, that I never had to repeat an exam. So like, these people are here for your taking. They're here to support you. They're here to watch you succeed, and they want you to succeed. It's not like in school where, there's a teacher going, well, you didn't study. They're not there. They'll sometimes call you out on your stuff. If they see you out every night, then like, God knows where, like unlikely this year, but if they see you're not attending a lecture, they're going to go, well, why aren't you attending your lectures? And then, if you don't have a good enough reason, they will tell you to cop on. But they're there to support you. They're not there to give out to you, but they're there to go, well, here's your choices, and these are choices that you make, but here's what we can do to support you. So if you need an extra lecture, like an extra lesson from your lectures, or you're having problems with your lectures, there's academic supports there for you. And there's also selected map advisors in each department. So these are like people who will be trained like within each department. So biology department will have one, engineering department will have one. Every department in Maynooth have a map advisor there, and they're there to support you. So if you have a problem within the department yourself, you can go straight away there, or you can go talk to your disability advisor also. Just to have that noted.
Yep, and Gavin, what did you want to say?
I was just going to say how because I know I kind of mentioned briefly, but just how accommodating everyone was, because like my disability, like chronic fatigue and like pain, it's not something you can see. But I just found like I was going into stuff being like, oh God, it's going to be like terrible. Like I'm going to have trouble with this, and I'm worried about getting help. And just people were so accommodating. I remember I was in a lab once, and to give a little story, but I was in a lab once, and like the lab demonstrator was like making sure getting us through stuff, because there was a lot of content in this lab. It was a chemistry lab, and I was like trying to get everything done, and I was like panicking. And then she like came to me and said, oh, I saw actually your form feel like you have a disability. And I was like, yeah, I do have arthritis. And I explained to her, and she's like, don't be worrying at all. Do whatever you can. I'll help wherever I can. I'm so sorry for not coming to you sooner. And it was just something like that. I was just like, I was honestly like to her that I was kind of like, I didn't enjoy labs, because especially in secondary school, because of the workload and because like I was getting so tired, and I could go into them tired. With my disability, I could just be tired whenever. And I honestly wouldn't enjoy labs, because I'd be like, I have to get this done. And I'm always last out the door and rushing to try and make the deadline. And if I don't make the deadline, I don't get all the work done. But then just her being like, no, like anything you need, do this, like come to me, don't be worrying at all. It like actually made me enjoy labs for like the first time ever after doing all the secondary school stuff, because I did like all the sciences for secondary school. But yeah, and then also on another note, I also did first year experimental physics, and I need to thank Ryan because now I've realized how I got a first in that module without having to do any diagrams.
Fabian, did you want to say something?
Yeah, the one thing I would say is never mind how big or small a problem you're having in college is, just never put it off. The amount of times I've let my own like ego get in the way, I'm like, I have to solve this problem myself. Never mind how big or small it is, just face your fear and go in. I don't know why, but for some reason I'm always like, I have to do this by myself. And then I find myself digging a hole deeper and deeper. But then I go into the access office and like within a second, it's solved. And I'm like, I could have fixed this problem, like this anxiety, this stress I've been having months ago if I just went in and dealt with it. Because like, even if something seems insignificant or you just want to ask a question and you feel like it's silly, it's just, there's so many other students that have gone through the exact same thing and they would have been so much happier if they just dealt with it. So like, just never fear going in, and they'll always smile when they see you, and you'll always come out feeling 100 times better than you did going in, and it's amazing.
Absolutely. I thought of another support that I got, and this is the problem. Like, not a problem, it's by no means a problem, but we had so many supports, so it's easy to forget them. But I got printing money.
Oh yeah.
Because I, as someone who's vision impaired, I don't like using my laptop as much, so I would print a lot of the slides out and highlight them and, you know, draw on them and whatnot to study. So I got money in my my card, or my student card, so that I could print them without having to worry and have it be a financial burden on myself. So that was another support I got. And I would say, like, there's peer support too, you know. Like, I would say, like, Gavin right there is your DARE senator this year. So if there's ever an issue that you think is, like, you know, small or big, just go to him and he will bring it up with the SU and he will fight your case too. So there's people able around that will fight for you if you need it and if you feel you have to ask for help. And then not only that, the social aspect of college, come to the Access Society, join the Access Society. We are all entrants from here or there, and we act as a support system in that we're just like, you know, just egging you on, go on, get that support, you know, like encouraging you to actually be your best self, you know. And that's how a lot of us know each other, is through the Access Society and being map ambassadors. Be a map ambassador, become a map ambassador, help others, you know. Like, there's going to be so many opportunities, and it's going to be a massive mental break for you to just get away from study and join in the social aspect of life. So there is the peer aspect and the peer support aspect, that, like, I absolutely have leaned on Gavin, Saoirse, and Ryan and Fabian for support in the last year. You know, it's like absolutely come and join the Access Society, and I'm not just saying that because I'm biased. But yeah, have anyone anything else they want to say?
So as well, while we're here and everybody's getting info about the sports, if you're wondering about the technology side, but as well running across the next couple of months, is the technology transition program. Myself, Gavin, and Richard are actually some of the ambassadors that help run that, and it's somewhere where you'll be shown a lot of the different technology supports, and you get to ask questions directly to us or to one of the staff members, Brendan. He's lovely too, about the tech supports that are there and how you go about getting them. And I think Saoirse has her hand up.
Fabulous. Go on ahead, Saoirse.
Thanks. Just to remind any students that want to chat to a MAP ambassador, such as a disability advisor, that you can use the ask function on the Launchpad website, and that runs from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. every day, and MAP advisors will be manning that station. Now, it may be a hear advisor, but it can also be a disability advisor as well, and they're from 12 to 2, Monday to Friday, just to keep that in mind.
Perfect. Gavin, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I did. First off, thanks for that shout out there. I was trying to find a way to do it, but it was way too awkward. Yeah, no, I'm working as the DARE senator, as Niamh was saying, and definitely if you have any problems any time of the day, don't be worrying. Send me a message on really anything. I'm Gavin Fanning on most stuff. GavinFanning. And then my email as well, if you search it up. My middle name's Lawrence. So if you get a Gavin Lawrence Fanning, email me on literally anything. And then also just on technology transition program, I remember when we could do it in person, when I was first getting the Livescribe Pen, when I applied for it, I actually had a meeting with Simon, and he just ran me through all sorts of tech in that, like different apps I could use as well as the pen. And it was very like nice and like kind of casual way of doing things. Whereas kind of I was going in and like luckily I'm fairly tech savvy, but like I definitely know for like students who aren't as tech savvy, if you're kind of worried about kind of like asking for tech, being like, oh, I'm not sure if I'll know how to use it, and you're kind of worried, definitely go in. It's super chill, especially I know we're doing it online this year. We're doing the sessions, but even then it's still super chill. I know Brendan has said if you ever need to organize a meeting with him, you can email him, and he's also super lovely. And they're just great and kind of make you feel at ease, and definitely help you get to grips with the technology. But yeah, thanks again, Neve, for letting me chip in there.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Gavin. If anyone has nothing else to say, we'll probably end it here. Thank you guys, all of you, for coming on and doing this panel discussion. Like, it's not easy to talk about your supports and not only that, but your disability. But the one thing we all have in common is we came in through the same area, we asked for help, we got it, and we're the better for it. And I will say to anyone that is coming in, introduce yourselves to your lecturers. We're actually lucky because we get to know our lecturers as an access student. I go up to my lecturer and say, look, hi, you've been told about me and my supports. You're actually the one, I'm the one you're helping, and just, it's polite to introduce yourselves at the beginning of every first module or every first class of a module that you've undertaken. So it's a really good practice to go and introduce yourselves to your lecturers, because at the end of the day, when you finish college and you're looking for an academic reference, they're the people you're going to go for, and they're the people you're going to want references from. So just introduce yourself, and they will know you from the help that they're giving you, and you can build a great rapport with them. So don't be afraid to advocate for yourself and make yourself known to your lecturer, because it will literally only give you benefits at the end of college.
And I believe Circa wants to say something.
Yep, Circa, go ahead.
I just kind of wanted to say I didn't really use any of the access in my first year, and then my mother gave out to me, and then I went in for my second year and kind of went hell for leather into it, and I don't know why I didn't do it sooner. And in all honesty, if anyone is like thinking, oh, they don't want to go in there or that they're nervous about it or anything, honestly, you'll regret thinking that. I definitely do. One, you just go in and they're like, what can we do for you? And that's a straight up approach. And they're just kind of, anyone in there that I've spoken to, I've talked to so many people in there, and every single one of them are like, so what can we do, or how can we help you? It's not, oh, it's this that we have to deal with. It's just such like an easy environment to walk into, more so than anyone kind of thinks. And even in the sessions or anything that they do, it just seems like you're having a chat. And in all honesty, any support that I've received from it made college so much easier, in the sense of like it wasn't completely stressful constantly. So if anyone is thinking not doing it, don't. It made a huge difference in I went from passing to doing so much better. So, and actually understanding what was going on to actually being able to discuss it in a lecture and feeling confident to do so as well.
Yeah, brilliant advice. Thank you so much, Saoirse, Richard, Connor, Fabian, Gavin, and Sorka and Ryan for coming on. Thank you to the students for watching this video. If you got this far, well done.
And if you have any questions for masters or students that have come through these and want to actually ask them to us on Saturday the 26th at 2 o'clock, I believe there's a session where you can talk directly to, I feel like actually it's most of us and a couple other students about the sports we got, and you can ask us questions. We don't really mind if they're personal. So
yeah, as you guys have seen today. But thank you guys so much. And yeah, that's all.
That's all, folks.
Thanks, guys.
Fabulous.
Stop recording.
Stop recording.